Let's start with the truth no one bothered to tell you. You are not losing because you are lazy. You are losing because you're walking into an economic game that was never designed for you to win. Adam Smith saw this in 1776, not the cartoon version they teach in school, the real Smith. The one who warned that every system eventually bends itself around the interests of the people who already hold power. He explained that the market doesn't lift everyone. It lifts those who write the rules. Everyone else becomes the fuel that keeps the machine running. You have been told that the economy is neutral, that money flows fairly, that if you work hard enough, the system will reward you. But here's the part they left out. The system isn't neutral, it isn't fair, and it isn't built on your dreams. It's built on their incentives. Your labor is expected. Your obedience is assumed. Your struggle is considered normal. Your losses are simply collateral damage in a structure that benefits a very small circle of people. And the worst part is this. You were taught to blame yourself for outcomes that were engineered long before you were born. You are not failing. You are functioning exactly as the system predicts. And until you see the design, you will keep mistaking the trap for the world. If you want to understand why you feel stuck, you have to look beyond your paycheck, your bills, and your choices. You have to see the architecture underneath your life, the part no one ever points at. Because the moment you see it, the illusion breaks. Adam Smith warned that the economy isn't shaped by nature. It's shaped by agreements, by interests, by quiet negotiations between groups who have the most to gain. He called them combinations. Modern economists call them incentives, but you feel them as pressure, as limits, as invisible walls around your options. You think prices rise because that's life. You think wages are low because the market said so. You think taxes are unavoidable because society needs them. But Smith saw something different. He saw systems designed to look natural, so no one questions who benefits from them. That is the invisible architecture, a structure that decides how far you can move without ever telling you that it exists. Nothing in your economic life is random. Not the cost of your rent, not the interest rate on your debt, not the salary bands in your industry, not the way every dollar you earn leaks into someone else's pocket before you even touch it. The most effective traps are subtle. They blend into the background. They feel normal. So normal that you begin to think the pain is your fault. But it isn't your fault. It's the design you were never meant to see. And once you understand that the world you live in was engineered, not inherited, the next question becomes unavoidable. If the architecture is invisible, then who exactly is building it? If this is your first time here, ThinkMate is where we question what others accept. That's the kind of mind we build this channel for. Subscribe if you want more. Now, back to it. To understand the trap, you have to start where Adam Smith started, with the nation itself. Because long before corporations, before credit cards, before modern debt, there was a larger illusion at work. An illusion Smith called the mercantile system. On paper, it looked like national strength, high exports, a rising treasury, glowing reports about economic growth. The kind of numbers politicians love to point at. But Smith noticed something no one wanted to admit. A nation can grow richer on paper while its people grow poorer in reality. Because mercantilism wasn't about improving lives, it was about concentrating power. The state measured success in hoarded wealth, not human well-being, and modern countries still do the same. GDP rises, markets boom, corporate profits hit new records, and yet the average worker is one unexpected bill away from collapse. That is the mercantile illusion, the belief that national strength automatically becomes personal prosperity. It doesn't. It never did. Governments don't show you the numbers that matter, not the cost of living, not the real wage, not the burden of debt, not the increasing share of national income flowing upward instead of outward. Your country can celebrate growth while your rent eats half your paycheck. Your leaders can talk about national progress while you sacrifice your future just to stay afloat. Smith's warning was simple. The wealth of a nation is not the wealth of its people. And when you confuse the two, you become loyal to a system that is quietly draining you. Because a strong nation is not proof that you are winning. Sometimes it is the clearest sign that you are being used. And once you understand that national prosperity can rise while your own life stalls, you start asking a far more dangerous question. If the nation is winning and I'm not, then who is collecting the difference? If you follow the money long enough, the illusion stops looking national. It starts looking corporate, because Smith didn't just warn about governments. He warned about something far more dangerous. The moment private interests become so large, so organized, so influential, that they quietly bend the rules of the entire marketplace. He called them combinations of merchants. Today, we call them corporations. And in 2025, you don't live in a free market. You live in a captured one. A system where a handful of companies decide what choices you get to make, what prices you will accept, and how much of your income flows back into their hands. 10 companies control most of what you eat, watch, buy, and depend on. They don't compete the way you think they do. They coordinate. They shape demand. They write the standards. They influence regulation. They sit at the tables where the real decisions get made. This isn't conspiracy, it's architecture. Smith understood that when a market grows powerful enough, it stops acting like a market. It behaves like a government. A shadow government with no elections, no accountability, and no obligation to care about the people funding its power. And that is the trap. You believe you're choosing freely, but every option in front of you has already been filtered, packaged, priced, and approved by the same hands. You think you're spending money, but you're actually reinforcing the very machine that limits your mobility. Corporate capture doesn't take your freedom loudly. It takes it by standardizing your life until you forget what freedom even feels like. And once a market becomes powerful enough to design your choices, there's only one next step. It begins designing your future. When corporations design your future, they begin with the simplest question. How do you keep a population obedient without force? You don't need chains. You only need debt. Adam Smith warned that debt is not just a financial burden. It is a form of dependence, a quiet leash that pulls you toward the life the system prefers you to live. And today, debt has become the primary operating system of modern society. Student loans, credit cards, car payments, mortgages, buy now, pay later traps wrapped in friendly colors. You are told that debt is opportunity, that borrowing is a normal part of adult life, that you can't build a future without first selling pieces of it away. But look closely. Debt doesn't move you forward. It locks you in place. It anchors you to a job you hate. It forces you into choices you never wanted. It turns your future into collateral for someone else's profits. And the cruelest part is this. The people who design these products don't need debt themselves. They use your debt to expand their power. You use your debt to survive their world. Debt is not a financial instrument. It's a control mechanism. When you owe money, you owe time. You owe compliance. You owe silence. You owe a version of yourself that fits neatly inside the system's expectations. This is the debt machine, a structure that converts your fear of falling behind into predictable income for those above you. And once you understand how your future gets monetized, you begin to see the next trap with painful clarity. If debt captures your future, then housing captures your present. If debt captures your future, housing captures your present. And this is where the trap stops being subtle. This is where you feel it every month without fail. Adam Smith had a brutal observation. He said the landlord class takes the greatest share while contributing the least. Not because they create value, but because they control access. They own the ground. And you pay for the privilege of standing on it. Centuries later, nothing has changed. If anything, the trap has evolved. Housing is no longer shelter. It's leverage. It's a power structure disguised as a necessity, and the people who own it understand this perfectly. Your rent rises faster than your salary. Your mortgage lasts longer than some marriages. Your cost of living grows even when your productivity doubles, not because of supply and demand, but because someone discovered a simple truth. When people are desperate for a place to live, they will accept almost anything. That is the heart of rent-seeking. Extracting value without creating value. Harvesting income from people who have no alternative. Turning human necessity into a predictable cash flow. You work 30 days, they work 0, but half of what you earn goes to them. And the system applauds this arrangement. Governments incentivize it. Banks finance it. Developers exploit it. Economists sanitize it with polite language like housing market or asset appreciation. Call it what it is, a pipeline. A pipeline that pulls money upward from the people who live month to month to the people whose wealth multiplies while they sleep. And the deeper truth is this: when housing becomes unaffordable, everything else in your life becomes negotiable. Your job, your choices, your dignity, your freedom. Because when you're worried about losing your home, you don't challenge the system. You don't resist, you endure. And that is exactly how the rent-seeking class keeps the entire structure stable, by making you fight for survival in a game they already own. But the trap doesn't end there. Rent determines how much you keep, but wages determine how much you're allowed to have in the first place. If rent decides how much you lose, wages decide how much you're allowed to have in the first place. And this is where Adam Smith made another prediction that the modern world quietly confirmed. He wrote that lawmakers often favor the interests of property owners over workers, not because workers are wrong, but because property has influence and labor does not. Property negotiates, labor obeys, and that dynamic still rules your life today. You are told your wage is the result of effort, productivity, merit, a fair reflection of your contribution. But Smith saw something simpler. Wages are not determined by value. They are determined by leverage, and workers rarely have any. Your employer knows you need the job more than the job needs you. They know your rent is due. They know your debt is waiting. They know your survival depends on your next paycheck. So your wage is calibrated with precision, not too high to give you mobility, not too low to make you quit, just enough to keep you showing up. This is the unspoken equation. A wage isn't designed to lift you, it's designed to contain you. And the evidence is everywhere. Productivity rises, profits rise, executive compensation explodes. But the average wage moves like it's chained to the floor. That's not economics, that's strategy. Because a population that earns just enough is a population that won't walk away, won't revolt, won't disrupt, won't question the hands that keep them dependent. Low wages don't just limit your lifestyle. They limit your imagination. They limit what you think is possible. They limit the life you believe you deserve. And once your income is controlled, the system moves to the next layer, the part of the trap that doesn't target your paycheck. It targets your identity. Once the system controls your income, it moves to something far more powerful, your identity. Because controlling money controls your options, but controlling identity controls your choices. Adam Smith noticed something unsettling about human nature. People don't worship virtue, they worship status. They admire wealth, even when it's unearned. They imitate success, even when it's hollow. And the wealthy understand this better than anyone. So they build a culture around themselves, a lifestyle for you to chase, a standard for you to measure your worth against. Not to inspire you, but to keep you occupied. You start buying things you don't need, not because they improve your life, but because they signal that you're doing fine, that you're not falling behind. that you belong to a world that was never built for you in the first place. This is how the psychological trap works. You stop living from necessity. You start living from comparison. The rich use money to secure freedom. The poor use money to imitate freedom. And the result is predictable. You spend to feel worthy. You borrow to feel included. You sacrifice your future to project an image in the present. And every dollar you burn chasing validation is a dollar that tightens the system's grip on you. The most effective trap is not the one that restricts you. It's the one that convinces you to restrict yourself. And once your identity is shaped by the very forces that limit you, the system doesn't need to police your behavior. You do it for them. But the trap goes deeper still, because the next layer isn't about money or image. It's about the structure of your work itself. When the system captures your identity, it doesn't stop there. It moves to the place where you spend most of your life, your work. Adam Smith understood something we rarely talk about today. The division of labor doesn't just increase efficiency. It reduces human capacity. It narrows your mind. It turns broad intelligence into repetitive function. Smith warned that a worker who performs one task every day for years becomes as stupid as possible, not because the worker lacks intelligence, but because the structure of the job drains it out of him. And centuries later, the modern world perfected this. Jobs that require everything from you except independent thought. Careers that promise stability while quietly stripping away your adaptability. Roles so specialized that you become replaceable the moment the market shifts or a cheaper technology appears. You think you're building a skill, but the system is building a limitation, a narrow lane that keeps you useful, predictable, and easy to control. Automation accelerates this. AI accelerates this. Corporate structures accelerate this. Every force in the modern economy pushes you toward becoming a smaller version of yourself. Because a narrow skill is easy to optimize, easy to monitor, easy to substitute, easy to discard. This is the trap. Your job feels stable only because it limits your evolution. The more you adapt your life around it, the more power it has over you. And when your work defines you, losing the job feels like losing your identity. That is the leverage the system counts on. But the deepest trap isn't the one at your workplace. It's the one inside your mind. The deepest trap is never the one around you. It's the one inside you. Because after the system shapes your income, your choices, your identity, and your work, it doesn't need to do anything else. Your mind will finish the job for them. Adam Smith noticed this long before modern psychology existed. He wrote that people often deceive themselves before anyone else does, not out of stupidity, but out of fear. Because facing the truth hurts more than living with the lie, so you tell yourself stories to survive. You say the economy is just tough right now. You say your job is fine. You say your debt is manageable. You say your exhaustion is normal. You say everyone else is struggling too. You build explanations that make the pain feel rational. Because admitting the system is rigged forces you to confront something even harder. The possibility that you've spent years playing the wrong game. And the system knows this. It doesn't need to silence you. It only needs to make you uncomfortable enough to avoid the truth on your own. So you stay obedient, you stay loyal, you stay hopeful in a structure that has no intention of rewarding your hope. Self-deception is not weakness, it is survival, but survival has a cost. The longer you shield yourself from the truth, the tighter the trap becomes, and that brings you to the cruelest part of the design. The part where ignorance stops being an accident and becomes an asset. Not for you, but for the people who profit from your confusion. Ignorance isn't harmless, it's expensive, and someone else is collecting the payment. When you don't understand the trap, you walk into it repeatedly. You sign contracts you never should have signed. You accept wages that were designed to keep you dependent. You take loans that turn decades of your life into collateral. You mistake rising prices for bad luck instead of engineered strategy, and the system counts on that. Because every gap in your knowledge becomes a stream of income for someone above you. Adam Smith knew this long before the modern world perfected it. He warned that when people don't understand how power works, they begin serving the interests of the powerful without realizing it. Not by force, by habit, by routine, by believing the stories that make their struggle feel normal. You think you're making independent decisions, but your ignorance has already narrowed the options you think you have. It shapes the jobs you pursue, the debts you accept, the prices you tolerate, the sacrifices you justify, because that's just how life is. Ignorance becomes a tax, a continuous deduction taken from your time, your freedom, your potential. And unlike regular taxes, this one never improves your life. It only improves theirs. You don't have to be foolish to be trapped. You only have to be uninformed. And in a world built on economic complexity, that is the most profitable kind of citizen you can be. But this is exactly where everything shifts. Because once you understand the cost of not knowing, you're finally ready for the only thing that breaks the trap: seeing the game. You break the trap the same way Adam Smith studied it, not by running from it, but by seeing the design clearly. Because once you understand the architecture, the system stops being a mystery. It becomes predictable. And when something is predictable, it becomes manageable. You don't need to destroy the system. You don't need to burn it down. You don't need to fight every moving part. You only need to position yourself differently inside it. The first step is awareness. Understanding who benefits, who pays, and who is expected to stay silent. Once you see the incentives, the noise disappears. The world becomes readable. The second step is refusing the illusions. Stop confusing national strength with personal security. Stop mistaking debt for opportunity. Stop mistaking consumption for identity. Stop mistaking wages for generosity. These illusions are not harmless. They are behavioral anchors designed to keep you in place. The third step is building leverage, not in the motivational sense, in the structural sense. Skills that cannot be easily replaced. Options that cannot be easily taken. A financial life that isn't built on borrowed time. A mind that isn't shaped by admiration for people who profit from your struggle. And the final step is detachment, not withdrawal, not apathy, but the quiet refusal to let the system define what you want, what you fear, or what you think you deserve. Freedom is not the absence of structure. It is the ability to navigate structure without losing yourself inside it. Because here is the truth Adam Smith understood better than anyone. The system only works as long as you believe your place in it is fixed. But the moment you see the game, the moment you understand its logic, you stop being the prey. You stop walking into their traps. You stop living by their expectations. You start moving with intention. You start choosing with clarity. You start living with a kind of freedom the system cannot regulate. And that is the one thing it was never designed to contain. If this made you see the world a little clearer, stay, think deeper. This is ThinkMate.